Yeah. After an exciting international break which saw Scotland make the perfect start to their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign, club football returns this weekend. And it's back to business in the cinch Premiership as the race to finish inside the top six intensifies. The Hibees have a chance to take a step closer to European football with victory here against today's opposition Motherwell, a team we've got the better of twice already this season.
Far side again from Boyle. Goes for the byline, whips it over. Chance here for Porteous! It's in the net from Ryan Porteous! Far side. Just turning again. Chance here for Nisbet and he scores! Ewan's in. Chance here for Hibs. Can he find Nisbet? He does. Kevin Nisbet slots it into the net. Ryan Porteous on a great challenge in the midfield area already. Nisbet. Oh, there we have it. We have the hat trick. Kevin Nisbet give Hibs a 3-1 lead.
Hello and welcome along to the build up here on Hibs TV. Hibs take on Motherwell from 3 o'clock this afternoon. My name's Gavin Rittoo and I'm delighted to be joined by Hibernian women's manager Dean Gibson. Dean, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to be on the show for the first time and build up to the match.
Yeah, you mentioned you were running a little bit late. You had training this morning. How was it? Big game tomorrow?
Yeah, it was good. I think we had we've got one of the harder teams to play tomorrow. So the build up this week's been excellent, and hopefully we can take the positives from the last few weeks into tomorrow's game.
Yeah, plenty to get through on the show, but we mentioned at the start of the show coming off an international break, and what an international break it was for Scotland. 6 points from 6 and the perfect start to our qualifying campaign.
Yeah, I think as well, not conceding a goal, and sometimes it's if you play against the teams that maybe rank near at the bottom of the group, that's an easier thing to do. But the confidence he'll take from doing that against a team like Spain should hopefully set them well for the remainder of the games that come up and give them confidence.
Mm-hmm. What did you make of that game against Spain? Because it was a really special night at Hampden, and the atmosphere, you could hear it. I was just watching on the TV, but you could see it was part of something bigger, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a throwback game, I think, from a few years ago. We've probably missed that big occasion over the last few years, and I think you can see what Steve Clarke and the national team have built. Hampden's now sold out for not just the Spain game but the Cyprus game, and the crowd will always feed energy onto the players, and when you play against teams like Spain you need that. So yeah, they're special nights, and hopefully we can just have a few more of them.
Yeah, definitely, and it was a great international break, but now our attention turns to club football, and it's a big game today, Hibs against Motherwell. What do you expect from this Hibs side? How important a game is this today?
Yeah, I think it's huge in terms of the top six, but also probably try to catch Hearts in third. I think you win today, you always hope that the teams above you drop points, but you can only do your own job, and I think it's double-sided. I think that the top six is so tight that try to confirm that place is important, but also try to catch the teams above you and not looking below you. So yeah, it's a huge game against a team that's actually in good form now since the manager change, but I'm pretty sure if we play to our full potential, we'll come out on top.
Yeah, how much will Lee Johnson be wanting to get back to winning ways after 2 defeats to the Old Firm in our last two, and how much do we want to kind of get that momentum going again?
Yeah, I think the performance at Parkhead was really positive though. So although it was a defeat, you probably didn't want the break to come because it was on the back of all the Rangers games in between that. You were on a good run of form in terms of winning games and then a good performance at Parkhead. So I think getting that momentum back as quickly as possible is important, because the next month, 2 months is going to be really important for the remainder of the season and where we finish. So yeah, winning today at home and hopefully in front of a big crowd will set that up nicely.
As a manager yourself, how big a thing is momentum in football in terms of the team morale in the group?
Yeah, it's everything, and confidence is the biggest thing, and you can only get confidence through good momentum. So I think we were on that run, and you've seen like when you get into a bad run how hard it is to get out it, but it's not easy to stay in a winning run, so you need a lot of praise when you get that, and hopefully we can start another run starting today against Motherwell.
You mentioned earlier how tight it is in the league table. Let's take a look at the league table, because I think it's only 7 points that separate Hearts in third and then St Mirren in seventh. We're right bang in the middle of that, so 2 points clear of St Mirren and 4 points behind Hearts. How tight are these next 4 games going to be, and how important are they before the split?
Yeah, they're huge, and I think for everything going into next season, I'm guessing if you finish top 6 or you get into Europe, your budget's maybe slightly bigger to go and recruit and improve the squad. So I think for the whole club it's an important period. I think we're rightly in the top 6. I think we deserve to be more comfortable. I think our performances have warranted that at times, but hopefully we can just get the job done today and set us up nicely to go forward.
Mm-hmm. It is so tight. It's one of these ones where like we're sitting 5th at the moment, but when we could go first, but if it doesn't go our way, then you could drop down to 7th. Do you think that'll be something that plays on the players' mind or the coach's mind, or do you think they're just focused on the task at hand?
They're probably just one game at a time. I know it's cliche, but it's genuinely what you do, and you don't really focus on the next one until you get this one out of the way. So they'll know how tight it is, and they'll know what one result can do both ways, up and down. But I think that their full focus will just be on winning today's game and getting 3 points and see where that takes them going into next week.
Yeah, you can tell I'm speaking to a manager here with the cliche and the one game at a time, but no, I think you're right. But from one manager to another, now it's time to get the thoughts of Lee Johnson, who sat down with Adam Tomlinson ahead of this one.
Lee, we come into this game against Motherwell off the back of the international break. It's been a little bit stop-start over the last couple of months or so, but how useful has this two-week period been?
Yeah, it's been useful. Obviously, not ideal because we wanted to continue a flow of what we felt had been decent performances over the last 6-7 weeks. At the same time, it gives you the opportunity to work a bit more individually with the players and focus on areas of improvement or sometimes enhancing their strengths in their game. Give them a little bit of rest and family time with a real focus now, certainly on the next 4 games, to then be followed by the 5 after that.
Yeah, before the Celtic game, we spoke a lot about working on the defensive side of the players' game. Obviously, against Motherwell, we'll probably have the ball a little bit more. Is that something that you've been working on?
Yes, the combination play. Obviously, we've got to select the right formation to go and do a job against Motherwell that have been, I think, performing very well since the change of manager. Even before that, there were signs of the form changing and turning. So it's a difficult game for us, but we do feel like we've got quality. Even with the 3 or 4 good players we've got out injured, I think the bench is strong. And I think we start to see signs that the recruitment has been good over the 2 windows, if you know what I mean, when you see the bench and the 4 players that are out.
Yeah, and one player that could be back this weekend is Joe Newell. How big of a boost is that?
Big boost, yeah. Joe has trained with us now for a week, 10 days. We're still having to be a little bit cautious of his load because he's still getting a little bit of impingement in the ankle. But at the same time, a fit Joe Newell certainly adds quality and composure in the starting 11 or from the bench.
Yeah, we're moving ever closer now until the split. The league obviously is incredibly tight. How important is each and every one of those games now going into that?
Yeah, well, we're full of optimism, that's for sure. I think the boys feel good physically. That there's a trust in each other, I think, both from staff to players and players to players, and they believe that the strength is in the squad and in the team to go and get the results that we need, and certainly something we're focusing on, we're looking forward to, and we need the fans massively behind us as they've been all season, and they really can be that extra body for us, or just drive us on, or keep our pencil sharp, if you know what I mean, with the right type of tone and tonality towards us being really competitive and showing our quality and inevitably winning the game.
Yeah, just finally, for you, this game will be obviously a little bit different because of your suspension. You'll be sat in the stands. How different will that be?
It'll be different. I've done it a couple of times before down in England where I've been on the naughty step. This time I feel like my staff are due to pay at least half the fine of me. But no, it's not something I want to make a habit of because I enjoy the influence that you can have down pitch side. But for a one-off, hooked up to David Gray via an old-fashioned walkie-talkie, should be enough to get a different aspect on the game, but also obviously still get the information down to the pitch side.
Absolutely, Lee. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Cheers.
That was Lee Johnson speaking to Adam Thompson ahead of today's match. Dean, Lee mentioned in the video he'll have to watch this one from the stands after picking up a suspension. How difficult will that be for him, or how different will that be for him?
Yeah, it'll give him a different view on the game. I think sometimes it's actually better to watch the games from higher up. You can actually see what's going on more, and I think that's sometimes why you hear fans getting frustrated because they can see the full pitch. And sometimes a player might pick the wrong pass or make the wrong move and fans get annoyed, but it's different what you see at ground level. So it'll give him a different eye on the game. It might frustrate him at times that he can't be the voice to get the message over, but I'm sure in the modern technology it won't be too hard to get his voice onto the pitch.
Is it something that you've experienced before, being up there in the stands from suspension compared to down on the touchline?
Yeah, unfortunately once. It's a little bit different for us though because our stands aren't as big. Fortunately I've been allowed to be on the sidelines when we've played here in Tynecastle and Parkhead when we played at Celtic. So, but yeah, it is frustrating because you want to get your voice onto the pitch, but like I say, I'm sure the technology these days, it won't be hard for him to get his message over. Did
you win the game when you were in the stand, or do you remember?
We lost 2-1, but so that wasn't my fault.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How, from a manager's perspective, like you mentioned, like when you're on the touchline and you might not be able to see the full game, is it difficult, or do you like being part of the action when you're down there?
Yeah, I think you do want to be down there. I think if you could pick being up there or down there, you would always pick to be ground level and be in amongst it. But like I say, it does give you that little bit of an advantage of being up in the stands. I think years gone by, managers used to do that, and they would start the game up in the stand and then it would come down. It's not as common nowadays, and it's probably as if you just want to get your message on, and especially at the level that the men are competing at, it's an elite level and the game happens so quickly that you might not have that extra minute or 2 minutes and you need to fix it very quickly. So yeah, I think for Lee, he would much rather be in the dugout than in the stands, but I'm sure it'll serve some purposes being up there today.
Yeah, for sure. And a word on today's opponents, Motherwell. They've had a recent upturn of form. I think they picked up 10 points from their last 15 available. How impressed have you been with them since Kettlewell took over?
Yeah, there's been that new manager bounce, as they call it, and for their sake they'll hope it's more than that, and it probably looks like it is. They look like a well organised side, and to be fair to Motherwell, I don't think they were as bad as their league position suggested before. I actually think they were okay, and it was maybe just their colour instinct at the top end of the pitch and maybe leaking too many soft goals, but in between the boxes they actually competed all right. So yeah, I think maybe Stuart Kettlewell's just identified the two things and maybe tightened up at the back a little bit, but give them, I think they've got with 2 strikers now, which is maybe different to before, and they're a little bit of a handful.
Yeah, another thing that we picked up from that interview was Joe Newell might be back in contention to start or from the bench as well this afternoon. How much will his return benefit the side, because he's been a great player for us this season?
Joe Newell's brilliant, and again I think he gets unfairly criticised at times, and I think what you'll realise is how good he is when he's not there, and then when he comes back in after a spell you'll see what he brings to the team. So yeah, hopefully he is back fit, and if he's in the start 11 today, I'm sure everyone will see how good a player he is, because he's a calming influence in the middle of the pitch, and he's a bit of muscle as well. He's got a bit of size about him.
Yeah, well, from one midfielder, Joe Newell, to another, Jake Doyle-Hayes. He's also returning from injury, and earlier I caught up with him to preview this one.
Jake, thanks for joining us. We're looking ahead to Motherwell on Saturday. How have preparations been going for that one?
Yeah, everything's been going good. Been in training Monday, Tuesday, had a day off Wednesday and back in today. So yeah, it's been good. We've been working on a game plan and hopefully we can implement it on Saturday.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since our last fixture against Celtic. Disappointing result, but personally, what was that game like for you to be back in and amongst the starting 11?
Yeah, I've been out for so long and I've been working so hard in the gym and stuff like that, so that's what I wanted to do, get back in the starting 11. it's a good confidence boost that the manager put me back in against Celtic, and tough game. But personally, it was great to be back out there.
How difficult has this season been, having to battle and come back from a couple of injuries?
Yeah, it's been really tough. I haven't had a season like this before. But seeing the lads out on the pitch, I want to be out there helping them out. But I've done what I can in the gym and trying to get back as quick as I can. So yeah, I'm happy to be back out there.
Yeah, how's the body feeling now? Are you feeling fit?
Yeah, good. Feeling good. I've had lots of training under my belt now, and yeah, I'm ready to go.
9 games to go now between now and the end of the season. What's the target? What's the goal for the lads?
So we need to push for European places. I think we set that as our goal at the start of the season. So yeah, we're in and about it, and I definitely think we can do it.
Yeah. Just finally, a little bit on Motherwell. Is aside of coming to a good run of form recently, what kind of challenge do you expect from them?
Yeah, as you said, since the new manager, they've went on a good run, and it's going to be tough. It's always tough against them, but we're at home. We need to concentrate on ourselves, put in a good performance, and I think the result will happen.
Appreciate your time, Jake. Good luck at the weekend.
Time for us to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be chatting all things Hibernian women with Dean Gibson, and we also have an exclusive feature where we took our cameras behind the scenes to watch our goalkeepers train. Back in a couple of minutes.
Shop without online trackers following your every step. Get NordVPN now and avoid online trackers. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Welcome back to our coverage from Easter Road as we're counting down to kick off between today's match between Hibs and Motherwell. One man who is likely to start is Hibs captain David Marshall, and earlier this week we took our cameras behind the scenes for an exclusive training session with Marsh and the rest of our goalkeepers. Here's how we got on.
This is the best content this club's going to ever produce. I'm telling you. The fans have been asking for it.
Marshy's done well. He's left his torch in his pocket and they're changing it. Bloody hell. Done well, Moss.
Jeez, peeps.
Alright, so just start on the post, Moss. We're both feeding me and Tom. Quarter turn, volley, go back, touch your post, volley. Alright,
six, yeah.
6 good ones. Just get the legs moving, get warmed up. Good hands, Moss, good. Hands, Tom. Good, last one, hold on. Dave, touch Tom, hold on. Just get there.
Yeah.
Going to be a cut back, alright? Gradually with the forearm, just take you a wee bit further each one, okay, Tommy?
Yeah.
4 cutbacks. Good, good, good. Power into the ball, good. Last one. Good hand, Muzz. Well done, Mars. Good hand, Muzz. Save, Murphy. Good. Excellent. Good start.
You start that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back. Done it again. Superb. Well done. Get wide.
No goal.
That full feature is available to watch on Hibs TV or on our YouTube channel. Dean, just quickly, how impressed have you been with Marsh since he came in the summer?
Yeah, really impressed. I think it's no surprise at how good he is. The career that he's had, he's an international level goalkeeper, and I think on top of everything that he's got, he's a leader, and that's probably important in the changing room for not just the manager but the players, to have someone like that in the dressing room, that when things aren't maybe going so well, you can look over and see someone like David Marshall sitting there, must give you a little bit of a lift. So yeah, he's been a huge addition to the club, and he's more than a goalkeeper, he's sometimes a fifth defender, and he can act as that sort of sweeper keeper. So yeah, he's been brilliant, and I've no doubt that he'll hopefully be here for a couple of years.
Yeah, also the impact that he's had on Murray Johnson, number 2, only 18 years of age, recently called up to Scotland under 21s. You can kind of see that Marsh is having a big impact on him, and he could be one for the future, Muzz.
Yeah, I think there's high hopes for him, and I think the Dortmund game here, he was excellent in that European campaign that the youth team had. I think he really shown how good a goalkeeper he is against difficult opponents. So international football will help him, but nothing will help him more than working alongside someone like David Marshall, his experience and what he's got. Any questions that Murray Johnson will have, I'm pretty sure David Marshall will have the answers. So yeah, it's an ideal combination for Hibs as a club for the future, and I'm sure both will benefit greatly from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, today's game is not the only important game of the weekend. Hibernian women take on Rangers tomorrow, and here's a roundup of how the season has gone so far. Dean, we saw a snapshot of some of the highlights from this season so far. How would you assess your campaign so far this season?
Probably really frustrating. A lot of it out with our own control though, and actually to put it a little bit clearer, if you could take the men's season and turn it into the female season, it's been the exact same.
Yeah.
I think we've had a lot of transition, a lot of positive transition, but that came with a lot of change, and when you get a lot of change you get inconsistencies. So this year was trying to build the consistencies back up. Unfortunately we've had a nightmare season with injuries, and but there was a spell in the season when we had everyone available that we looked as good as any side in the league, and we reached a cup final. So there's been a lot of positives, but a lot to build on, and a lot of good positives, but also some negatives that we need to make sure we don't cross the same problems again next season.
Yeah, you mentioned plenty of positives to take, like that the Sky Sports Cup final at Tynecastle. Also, got another record attendance here against Hearts in the Capital Cup. How important and how big were those experiences for you?
They were huge. I think that's the thing that the women's players need to get used to, is playing in front of big crowds and big stadiums. So when you play in the games, it is slightly different. So when we've played Hearts before at Ainsley Park or the Oriam, it's felt like a derby because you look over and you see that maroon strip, but it's got a different feel. When you play them at Easter Road in Tynecastle, there's a different feel to that game, and you don't want to come to Easter Road and lose to Hearts. So there's a lot more pressure on the games now than maybe there was before, but that's what the players, they want to be professional. You've got to get used to pressure, and slowly but surely we're getting there. Yeah,
and I think in recent years you can clearly see the coverage of the women's game has come on leaps and bounds. The Sky Sports Cup final was obviously on Sky. There's been several games broadcasted on Sky Sports, more media attention. Is that something that you've enjoyed personally, having to do more interviews and that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but I don't shy away from it. But I think it is good. But what is difficult is we're not as used to it as maybe the guys in the men's game. So when we're in front of the camera, sometimes it can be a little bit different for us. But like you say, this season's been a huge learning curve for us, and I think now we're pretty set in our ways in how we answer things. Probably more cliche now than we were at the start.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about this being a bit of a transition phase. Does that mean that there's plenty to look forward to ahead of next season then?
Yeah, this has been the best season in my opinion, the club's history, and that obviously doesn't mean trophies, but what this season's done is allowed us to go into a model now that lets us hit our ceiling. This is my third season, and every year I've transitioned into a different model. So I started off amateur, then we moved semi-professional, now we've moved into that hybrid professional model. So now we can only go up the way. There's no more transitions for us, so it's all about consistencies now, and you'll see that we're tying players down to 2025, 2026, and that was never the case in women's football. It was always 12-month contracts. So this year's been huge for us to develop as a club, but next year's we will really see the benefits of that, and we're really excited by that. So next year we want to go and compete with Celtic, Glasgow City and Rangers properly, and we said we were going to do it this year. Did we deep down believe it? Probably not, but next year we genuinely believe we can go and compete with these clubs.
And you've got an opportunity, of course, to do that as soon as tomorrow. Rangers away. How have preparations been going for that one?
Yeah, they've been good. We've got a lot of injuries at the moment, and unfortunately the majority are long term, and they're all quality players. Rachel Boyle's got, I think, 48 Scotland caps. Shannon McGregor's touching on A squads, and that's Crystal Thomas, Orlando Pride former player. So that's the kind of quality player that we've got missing at the moment, and that's going to hurt any team. But the players that have stepped in have done it with no problems, no issues, and gave the club everything. So I can't fault anyone, but when you go against Rangers, you want to have everyone available. Unfortunately, we've not got that, but we're sure we can still go there and get 3 points.
How important is it for you to close that gap between ourselves and the Glasgow sides? Because when you take Rangers and Celtic and Glasgow City out of it, we've scored the most goals out of the rest of the teams in the league, but is the aim really to close that gap between the sides, because we proved that we can do it? Yeah, it's funny, not a lot of people know it, but when we got to the semi-final of the quarter-final, the League Cup, there was 4 teams. There was us, Spartans, Glasgow City and Rangers, and we had a board meeting the next day, and they asked me who I wanted in the semi-finals, and I said Glasgow City, and they all thought I was mad, but I know we can compete with these teams when we've got everyone available and we're ready and we're raring to go. So these teams don't worry us, they don't bother us. So yeah, we're more than ready to go at Rangers tomorrow and in the future. Well, Dean, we wish you all the very best of luck for tomorrow and of course the rest of the season. I'm afraid that is all that we have got time for on today's show. Hibs versus Motherwell kicks off at Easter Road from 3 o'clock now. It's time to pass over to our commentary team of Cliff Pike and Joelle Murray. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.